So, guys, we are something like 5 days removed from the Samsung Galaxy Unpacked event, where they unveiled the S25 series of devices. And you may be wondering, what on earth could you possibly still be talking about with regard to that event 5 days later? The answer is something a little bit strange, something that may have come and gone on screen when it happened live. I didn't even notice it myself. I'm guessing a lot of us maybe did not notice it, probably because I was in the chat and I was trying to take some notes and it happened very quickly. Something was shown on stage, up on the big screen, that I think there are at least a couple of bits that will be fun to talk about. Right around the 26-minute mark, while an individual named Jay Kim was on stage, like I said, something appeared on the big screen behind him. This is actually a screenshot I took from Samsung's official live stream. Now, there's actually a better shot of this, which we'll look at here in a second, but you can already see there's a Z Fold style device. And ladies and gentlemen, that appears to be a trifold device with two individual hinges. Now, there is actually a better image of this, and it is this image. I believe this is literally a photo that someone who was at the event must have taken. Now, I cannot find the initial original source to this. I've tried doing a reverse image search, and I can't really figure out who took this photo, so I can't really credit it to anybody specifically, which is a little bit of a bummer, but what you can see here is a whole heck of a lot clearer, and man, there is a lot to sort of look at here and speculate about. This is what we're doing. We are speculating. We are pulling our train into the first stop at Speculation Station, and I think it's going to be fun. So let's talk about the big one first, the trifold device. I think that bare minimum, this is a clear signal, as clear as you're probably going to get, that yes, indeed, Samsung is working on a trifold device. However, if we dig in and we look a little bit more closely at this trifold device, some interesting details emerge. So the first thing I noticed is that this trifold device is an in and out style device. What do I mean by that? I mean that this bit of the screen is going to fold in this direction, and this bit of screen is going to fold in this direction. Okay, this is more in line with the Huawei Mate XT. Doesn't look like the patents that we have seen from Samsung, and it doesn't look like the demo devices that Samsung Display has shown off. Jumping back to an article that I posted a while back, you can see in this patent image a device that folded in and then in on itself again. What this means is the internal screen, that flexible, fragile folding screen, is all housed inside the device. None of it is exposed. With this device, the cover display here is going to be just an extension of that folding screen. All of this is folding OLED screen, right? So your cover display is just part of that. And by virtue of that, the corner of the device, the edge, will be exposed folding screen. This is seen to me as being one of the bigger flaws of the Huawei Mate XT style device. And the patent that we see here doesn't have that problem. Something else that's interesting is it does place the camera in the middle. If you're folding this way, the camera has to be hidden back here because that's going to be the back of the device. And like I said, Samsung has shown these sorts of devices. This is Samsung Display, but this is a G Flex style device. It folds in, and then it folds in on top of itself. So if you're thinking, yeah, well, maybe that's just not possible. No, it absolutely is possible. Samsung Display has actually shown it for several years now. So again, just interesting to me that they are showing in this image a completely different style of trifold device. Now, the most recent thing that we've heard on this trifold device is that it may be ramping up production as soon as Q2 of this year, 2025, for a release in Q3 of 2025. So what I don't want to sort of encourage here is that we look at this simple image and we start making like sweeping judgments on what this device is going to be. There's a lot of stuff up in the air. I would still assume it's a G Flex style device, in and then in again. This may just be sort of an image that someone threw together. We can't read in too much, although it's fun to speculate. we're going to speculate about one more thing, because they did obviously show a Z Fold style device. Now, there's not nearly as much to kind of dig into here. All I'll say is that when I saw this, and then I looked at my very own Z Fold 6, which I can kind of open up in such a way you can kind of get an approximation there. It looks to me, and my eyes are not measuring tape, so I could be wrong about this, but it looks to me like that cover display is a little bit wider than what we have on the Z Fold 6. Again, I could be completely wrong, but it looks to me to be a bit more like the Z Fold Special Edition, which has a wider cover display and a larger overall body. If we do a very crude measurement here, that camera bump looks like it's about 1/3 the total height of the back of the device. Now, if you take the Z Fold 6, it's less than that. You end up with that last camera bump hanging off by just a little bit. Now, again, we are looking at imagery that could have been made by just someone in their art department or something like that, and it could be completely, totally meaningless. They could have just said, put a Z Fold up there, put a device that folds, a trifold style device on there, and that's just what someone came up with. Okay, so we can't run away with this too far, but I do still think, like I said, it's fun to speculate, and if we do speculate, you've got sort of confirmation of a trifold device whose design is totally dissimilar from what every bit of information sort of has pointed us towards, so that's interesting. And then we have a Z Fold device whose design is quite similar, at least as best I can tell, to what the most reputable leakers are saying we should be expecting. We've got people like Ross Young from Display Supply Chain Consultants saying that the Fold 7 should have the same size displays as the Z Fold 6 SE. The Fold 6 SE will basically become the Fold 7, and I swear that's kind of what that looks like to me. And again, it could be completely meaningless, but it is interesting that it does kind of line up. At any rate, guys, it does seem quite clear that a Z Fold 7 is, of course, coming, and that a trifold device is also likely to be coming potentially this year. And you know good and well that as more and more news on these things break, I'm going to be talking about it here on the channel, and I'm also going to be talking about it over on my handy-dandy website, shanecraig.tech, while I post blog posts and little news things that eventually become videos, so do go check out that website. And by the way, if you want to help support the channel in a way that doesn't cost you a dime, if perhaps you watched that Galaxy Unpacked event and you came away from it thinking, you know, I actually do want to buy one of these, if you would be so kind as to use one of the links in the description down below. Again, it costs you nothing, but it does earn me commission, and it is a great way to help support the channel. And I think that if you use my Samsung link, it'll say howl.link, but it'll take you to samsung.com. I think that they're actually giving you a little bit of extra credit that you can spend towards accessories when you check out. I'm pretty sure that's still the case. So it actually doesn't even benefit you if you do use my link. And again, if you do that, don't buy the phone to help me. But if you're already going to buy the phone, you might as well use my link and do me a favor, and maybe it'll help you too. And if you do that, massive, massive thanks to you for doing that, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.